That familiar Final Jeopardy. Music begins to play, filling the Alex Trebek stage with a sense of pressure that only this moment can create. This is the Tournament of Champions Finals. Every decision matters. The category appears on the board. Composers. For some, that word brings comfort. For others, it's a warning sign. Classical music knowledge can be deep, specific, and unforgiving. One small mistake can change everything. The host reads the clue. 30 seconds are on the clock. Pens move, eyes narrow, brains race. You can almost feel the tension in the room. First, the camera moves to TJ Fisher. His face shows concentration, maybe even uncertainty. When time runs out, the screen reveals his response. He originally wrote Ravel, then crossed it out. In its place, he wrote Bizet, clearly thinking of Carmen. It's a reasonable association. Bizet is one of the most recognizable names in opera, but in Final Jeopardy. Reasonable is not always enough. The host delivers the verdict. It is not Bizet. TJ had wagered $777, a modest bet that suggests caution. The miss drops him to $7,023. Not disastrous, but not ideal either. And just like that, one small change of mind alters the outcome. She's standing in the middle, having entered Final Jeopardy. Finally, we turn to the champion standing at the far end, Andrew He. Let's break down what just happened. This Final Jeopardy. The clue itself was about the French composer Maurice Ravel, who famously refused the prestigious Legion of Honor award in 1920. It's a deep-cut piece of trivia that separates the great players from the legends. T.J. Fisher's journey is a heartbreaking look at the pressure of the moment. He actually had the right answer, Ravel, written down at first. But in those final, frantic seconds, doubt crept in. He switched his answer to Bizet, a more famous name, but the incorrect one for this specific clue. This is something every trivia player fears, second-guessing yourself out of a correct answer. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes your first instinct is the right one. His cautious wager of $777 showed he wasn't entirely confident, which ultimately saved him from a bigger loss. But it wasn't enough to stay in the running for the win. It was enough to put pressure on Andrew if he stumbled. But small enough that if she had been wrong and Andrew was right, she would still maintain a solid second-place finish. This kind of nuanced betting is what defines champions. It's not just about what you know. It's about how you play the game and manage your risk. She secured her position and proved why she's one of the best to ever play the game. And then there's Andrew, he the victor, with a lead so large that the game was effectively his to lose. The truly brilliant part was his wager. By betting $1,800, he did exactly what he needed to do to lock up the win. He calculated the maximum possible score Amy could reach and wagered just enough to surpass it. This is called a lockout or crush wager. It's unemotional, mathematical, and brutally effective. He didn't need to be flashy. And he played the odds perfectly and walked away as the undeniable champion. This single Final Jeopardy wasn't just a question and 3 answers. It was a story of doubt, confidence, and brilliant strategy all unfolding in just 30 seconds. It shows that in the Tournament of Champions, every single decision, from the answer you write to the dollars you wager, can make all the difference. Thank you so much for watching. If you love deep dives into iconic game show moments like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss another video. Let me know in the comments what you think of their strategies. We'll see you in the next one. Next, our attention shifts to the middle podium, where Scott Riccardi stands in second place. He entered this final round with a respectable $8,200. Let's see what he came up with. The screen lights up, and there it is, a single, confident name, Ravel. Unlike TJ, there's no hesitation here. No crossing out, no last-minute changes, just a clean, decisive answer. And it's the right one. The piece was Bolero by Maurice Ravel. The audience gives a knowing murmur of approval. Classical music clues can be tricky, but they often reward that quiet confidence, and Scott had it in spades. But then we see the wager. $0. A big, bold 0. He didn't risk a single cent. It's a purely strategic move. by wagering nothing. But even as the numbers settled for Scott, everyone in the studio and at home knew the game was already decided. All eyes turned to the far end of the stage, to Paolo Pasco. Paolo had played a masterful game. He was dominant on the buzzer and hit his daily doubles with precision, building an absolutely colossal lead. He walked into this Final Jeopardy round with a staggering $25,600. The math was simple and brutal for his opponents. He was completely unreachable. The only drama left was whether he would cap off his incredible performance with a correct answer. So, what did Paolo write down? His screen reveals the name Rossini. It's an incorrect response. But in the grand scheme of this game, it's completely irrelevant. A mere footnote to his commanding victory, and his wager confirms he knew it. He bet a mere $121. It's almost a playful wager, just a tiny fraction of his winnings. Even with the incorrect answer, his final score is an enormous $25,479. It's official. The first game of the Tournament of Champions finals belongs to Paolo Pasco. What an incredible performance. He has set the bar incredibly high for the rest of this final matchup. The other two players have a serious mountain to climb if they want to catch him. Game 1 is in the books, and Paolo has a commanding lead. We'll be back to see if he can keep this momentum going. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more Jeopardy! Analysis. And just like that, the first game of the finals is in the books. You can feel the energy in the room, that mix of relief, excitement, and pure, uncut tension. Winning a single game in a tournament like this is a massive achievement. But winning the very first game of the finals, that sends a message. It sets the tone. It's a statement of intent. He knows this is just the first step on a much longer journey. The other contestants are nodding. You can see them mentally resetting already. There's no time to celebrate a win or dwell on a loss. Not here, not in the finals. Because let's not forget the format. Momentum is a powerful force, but it's not a guarantee. One game can completely shift the confidence of the players. A second win can start to define a pattern, putting immense pressure on the person trailing. But it takes 3 wins to hoist that trophy and be crowned the champion. Every single game from here on out is a battle, a complete reset where anything can happen. That's the beauty and the brutality of a format like this, especially on a stage like the Alex Trebek stage. Think about the pressure cooker that is Final Jeopardy! All the knowledge, all the strategy, all the nerve-wracking seconds of gameplay, it all gets compressed into that 1 30-second window. You have the music, the lights, the weight of the entire game resting on a single wager and a single answer. It's an incredible release of tension for one person, and for the others, it can be a moment of pure what if. We become armchair quarterbacks, analyzing every move. You can replay those final moments in your head over and over. You see the crossed out answer, the one they second guessed. You scrutinize the wager. Was it too aggressive, or was it too safe? Did they protect their lead properly, or did they leave the door open just a crack? Every single decision under that intense pressure tells a story. It's about managing your own psychology when the stakes are at their absolute highest. Can you stay calm when you're behind? The mental game is just as important as the trivia knowledge, and that's what we're seeing play out in real time. Each player has a unique style, a unique approach to the board, and a unique way of handling the pressure of the finals. And the best part? This was only the beginning. This was just game 1. The journey is far from over. Tomorrow, they'll be right back here, standing behind these same podiums, facing the same unforgiving clues and the same immense pressure. The score is reset to 0, and the battle begins anew. Will the momentum from today carry over, or will we see a complete reversal of fortune? Will our early leaders solidify their advantage? Or will one of the other contestants strike back and even the score? Everything is still on the table. This is what makes the Tournament of Champions so special. It's not just a test of knowledge. It's a test of endurance, of resilience, and of heart. We're about to witness some of the highest level gameplay you will ever see. So make sure you're subscribed and have those notifications turned on because you're not going to want to miss a single second of what comes next. The finals continue tomorrow, and trust me, the drama is only going to escalate from here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you for the next game. Today, we're diving deep into a Final Jeopardy. Moment that's stuck with fans for a long time. And it's not just because of the clue or the answer. It's because it perfectly captures the intense psychology of the game. What makes a champion? Is it just knowing facts? Or is it something more? Let's break it down. The scene is set. 3 contestants. 1 final clue. The category. Composers. The answer. Who is Richard Wagner? Simple enough, right? It's a masterclass in strategy, pressure, and the human element that makes Jeopardy so compelling. Let's start with TJ. His journey in this single moment is something every single one of us can relate to. He writes down the correct response, Wagner. He has it. The knowledge is there. But then something happens. Doubt creeps in. That little voice in your head that says, "Are you sure? What if it's the other guy?" He crosses out Wagner and writes down Verdi instead. It's a classic case of second-guessing yourself. And for TJ, that decision to abandon his correct first thought cost him everything he wagered. It's a gut-wrenching moment because we've all been there, maybe not on a game show, but in life. Now, let's look at Scott. His play is the polar opposite of TJ's, but just as fascinating. Scott reveals his answer, also Verdi. It's incorrect. But then he reveals his wager, $0. He didn't bet a single cent. This wasn't a lack of confidence. It was a stroke of strategic genius. He knew his position, he knew the scores, and he recognized that the wisest move wasn't to gamble, but to hold his ground. He played the odds, not just the question. By betting nothing, he insulated himself from risk. It's a quieter form of brilliance. The kind that doesn't always get the spotlight, but is absolutely crucial in a game like Jeopardy. Thinking several moves ahead and understanding that defense is sometimes the best offense. And finally, we have our champion, Paulo. He also writes down the correct response, Wagner. He was confident and his knowledge held firm, but the real championship move was in his wager. He didn't bet the farm. He didn't need to. He was already in a commanding lead. His bet was conservative, calculated. This is what separates good players from great champions. It's not just about getting the answer right. It's about managing your lead. Paulo demonstrated perfect situational awareness. He knew the goal wasn't to maximize his winnings for that single day, but to ensure he would be the one returning to play again. He protected his lead, and in doing so, secured his victory. It is like a miniature play in 3 acts. You have the tragedy of self-doubt, the brilliance of strategic caution, and the calm confidence of a champion. It shows us that Jeopardy is so much more than a quiz. It's a high-stakes mental game where knowledge, nerve, and judgment collide. The clue itself was straightforward, but the human drama that unfolded was incredibly complex. It's a reminder that under pressure, our biggest opponent is often ourselves. That battle between instinct and anxiety is universal. And that's why we love this game. It's not just about watching smart people know things. It's about seeing how they handle the pressure, how they strategize on the fly, and how they navigate those critical moments of decision. Every Final Jeopardy is a glimpse into the psychology of competition. The episode ends, as always, with the promise of more to come. An invitation to tune in tomorrow. And for fans like us, that's all we need. Because we know another moment of high-stakes drama is just around the corner. What's a Final Jeopardy moment that has always stuck with you? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. We'll see you in the next video. What an incredible start to this Tournament of Champions. As the applause for Paula Pasco fades, you can just feel the tension still hanging in the air. Game 1 is in the books, and Paolo has secured a crucial first victory. But if you think this competition is anywhere close to being decided, you haven't been watching long enough. Let's break down what just happened. Paulo played a masterful game, no doubt about it. He was quick on the buzzer, confident in his responses, and he managed the board with the precision of a surgeon. That early lead he built wasn't just luck. It was the result of sharp strategy and even sharper knowledge. When he found that first daily double, you could see the gears turning. He didn't bet recklessly, but he bet enough to put serious distance between himself and his competitors. It was a calculated risk that paid off beautifully and set the tone for the rest of the match. But here's the thing about this tournament format. It's a marathon, not a sprint. One win is fantastic, but it's just one piece of a much larger puzzle. We've seen it time and time again in past tournaments. A champion from one day can stumble on the next. The leaderboard can be completely flipped on its head by a single, perfectly timed daily double. Remember last year's finals? A player was trailing significantly, found the last daily double of the round, went all in, and completely changed the momentum. That's the kind of drama that's always lurking just beneath the surface. And let's talk about the categories. Today, the board seemed to fall right into Paolo's wheelhouse. The literature, the history, the science, he was navigating them with ease. But tomorrow is a brand new board. What if we see a run of categories that play more to the strengths of his opponents? A deep dive into 1980s pop music or classical art, or perhaps even sports statistics. A category that seems obscure to one player might be the bread and butter for another. That's the brilliant unpredictability of this game. You can't prepare for everything, and sometimes it all comes down to the luck of the draw. The psychological game is just as important. Paulo has the advantage of confidence right now. He knows he can win on this stage, but that also puts a target on his back. His opponents now know exactly what they're up against. They'll be studying his performance, looking for weaknesses, and adjusting their own strategies. They might play more aggressively tomorrow, trying to hunt for those daily doubles before he can get to them. They'll be faster on the buzzer, fueled by the desire to even the score. The pressure is now on Paulo to maintain his lead, and sometimes defending a lead is even harder than capturing it in the first place. And then, of course, there is the ultimate equalizer, Final Jeopardy. We saw a tough clue tonight, and it sealed Paulo's victory. But what happens tomorrow if the Final Jeopardy clue is one of those brain busters that leaves everyone stumped? Or what if it's a clue that only one of his opponents knows instantly? Everything can change in those final 30 seconds. A lead can evaporate, and a long shot can suddenly become it's the most exciting part of the game for a reason. So, while we congratulate Paulo Pasco on a truly phenomenal performance in Game 1, let's not get ahead of ourselves. He's got the lead, he's got the momentum, and he's proven he has what it takes, but this story is far from over. The scoreboard is wiped clean for Game 2. New clues, new categories, new risks, and new opportunities await. The beauty of this tournament is that every single game matters, building on the one before it, creating a narrative of skill, nerve, and intellect. What do you think? Does Paulo have what it takes to go all the way, or will we see a huge comeback tomorrow? Let me know your predictions in the comments below. It's going to be an unforgettable ride, and we'll be here to break it all down with you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a moment of the action. See you next time. For anyone who's been watching Jeopardy! For years, the Tournament of Champions is a whole different beast. This isn't just about knowing the answers anymore. This is about strategy, nerve, and playing the player next to you. And in the most recent tournament, we saw a Final Jeopardy! That will be talked about for a very, very long time. It was a masterclass in game theory, a nail-biter that came down to what was written, what was crossed out, and what was wagered. Let's set the stage. Going into Final Jeopardy! The scores are tight. Every dollar counts. The category is revealed, and you can see the gears turning in the contestants' heads. It's not just about, do I know this? It's, do they know this? And what will they bet if they do, or if they don't? This is the chess match within the quiz show. The music starts, and 30 seconds feel like both an eternity and a blink of an eye. This is where the legends of the game are made or broken. Then the reveal, We see the answers one by one. But it's the wager that tells the real story. In this particular game, we witnessed something incredible. A player wrote down an answer, thought better of it, crossed it out, and wrote down something else. A moment of doubt captured on screen for millions to see. Was it the right move? Did that split-second decision cost them the game or win it for them? The tension is almost unbearable as Alex or Ken walks over to reveal the final outcome. But wait, there's another layer. Another contestant revealed their answer, and then their wager. They bet almost nothing. It was a shockingly small amount. At first glance, you might think it's a mistake, a rookie error. But in the Tournament of Champions, there are no rookie errors. This was a calculated defensive move. This player wasn't playing to maximize their winnings. They were playing to not lose. They had run the numbers, analyzed the probabilities of their opponents getting it right or wrong, and decided the safest path to victory was to risk as little as possible. This is what separates the great from the good. It's the ability to see the entire board. This contestant understood that even if they got the question right, a large wager could be their downfall if the leader also got it right and made a similarly large or even a strategic small wager. By betting low, they were essentially saying, I believe at least one of you will get this wrong, and that's all I need. It's a quiet confidence, a deep understanding of the game's mechanics that goes far beyond just buzzing in first. And then it happened. The final reveal showed that their calculation was spot on. The leader got the question wrong, and their big wager wiped them out. The player who made the defensive bet secured the win, not with a triumphant, massive score, but with a quiet, brilliant piece of strategy. It wasn't about the glory of a huge payday. It was about surviving to play another day. One player's moment of doubt with a crossed-out answer, and another's ice-cold, minimal wager. It all unfolded in 30 seconds, but it's a perfect example of the psychological warfare that makes the Tournament of Champions the pinnacle of quiz show competition. These moments are what we live for as fans. It's not just about trivia. It's about the human drama of high-stakes decision-making under immense pressure. It proves that in Jeopardy, sometimes the most powerful move is the one that seems the quietest. What a game, what a finish. It reminds us that you're not just playing the board, you're playing the people. Let me know in the comments what you think of that strategy. Was it brilliant or too risky? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the greatest moments in game show history.